Well, it looks like, man, Mets fans, our worst fear, just has come true. Kodai Senga is now going to be on the IL for the New York Mets to start the season. This is All Things Mets, where you get your latest Mets media, everything you know about the Mets on this channel. Definitely do me a favor, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into the latest news. That is going to be the topic of the day, and that is going to be ace pitcher Kodai Senga. Yes, his second year in the major leagues, and he's already going to be an ace for the New York Mets. And yes, Kodai Senga, we heard there was some reports about some discomfort. We didn't know exactly what it was, but we knew it was around the shoulder area. And now it seems we've got the news, we got the report. And the latest is, guys, Kodai Senga has been diagnosed with a mild strain posterior capsule. This really is awful, awful news for the New York Mets. When you look at the New York Mets, you look at 2024. You thought that Kodai Senga, you just wanted him to be healthy. You wanted him to start the season healthy. This guy is your ace. This guy is the biggest guy, the most important guy in the rotation for you. So now it looks like he's not going to be, he's not going to make the team in the opening day. And this really is awful news for the New York Mets because they're already, not having a spectacular rotation. And when you think of horses like Kodai Senga, Quintana, that's the guys that you wanted to depend on. That's the guys you wanted to have in your rotation, at least for a 1 and 2. And now it looks like Kodai Senga is not going to be, a part of that to start the season. And I don't know exactly a timetable of how long he's going to be out. But this is awful, awful news, guys. Kodai Senga has been completely, and I mean completely shut down, guys. Shut down from all baseball activities right now because of this mild strain posterior capsule. And, Kodai Senga also said himself that, maybe he could have pitched through it, in the season, but he wants to take it easy. He wants to, see what's going on. And, it's the start of the season, so why not get it fixed or, heal before he's off, and he misses like 3 months, 4 months. You don't want that. You don't want that. I know us Mets fans, we do not want that. We want this guy. We want Kodai Senga to be the ace of the Mets, but he's now going to start the season on the IL. This is very, very unfortunate news. Like, what are the Mets going to do now? What are the Mets going to do now? Because you don't have a lot of options in the rotation. You have guys like Mike Vassell, Christian Scott, Dominic Hamill in spring training. But those guys, are they ready for the spot? Are they ready for a rotation spot in 2024? Well, they might have to be. Or they could go with Tyler McGill as the option, to replace Kodai Senga. And it is not a great option. As much as I liked Tyler McGill, and I really wanted Tyler McGill to be a Met for, some time, and I wanted him to do really, really good, he just hasn't found it. He never really, really found it when it comes to his, his mechanics, the way he's pitching, and he's just not consistent. And that's the problem. So you want a guy that's consistent, man. You want a guy that's consistent. So what are the Mets going to do now? 2024, this is the year, you're supposed to see these young guys play. Are you going to is David Stearns going to give a legitimate shot to a Mike Vassell, somebody that, barely pitched in AAA last year? Or are you going to give Christian Scott a chance, or somebody that's in AA right now? So he's a little further behind. Or, Dominic Hamill, who's in AAA. Oh, I think AA. But just in general, guys, what are the Mets going to do? Because this is just awful, awful news. And it sucks for Mets fans because we can't have nothing good. We can't have nothing good, man. It always happens to the Mets fans. It always happens to the Mets. They just, injuries happen. And I get it. It's baseball. Injuries happen all the time. But when it comes to the Mets, it's just so much bad luck that the Mets have. A guy like Justin Verlander, who does not really get injured a lot. We signed him as a Met last year, and he starts the season on the IL. So it's really tough. It's really tough being a Met fan when it comes to these injuries, when it comes to these health reports. And it's like, what are the Mets not doing correctly? Is that something to be talked about? But, just in general, this is very, very just shattering. This is shattering. This really sucks. This is like the worst possible thing that can happen for a New York Mets team right now. And I don't know exactly how long Kodai Senga is going to be out. And I hope it's not too long, because he is such an important piece for this team in 2024. You're already not having a spectacular rotation. You have guys like a Luis Severino, like a Quintana, like a Sean Manaea, like a Adrian Hauser, like a Tyler McGill in the rotation. And now you don't have Senga. Like, this is really, really, really tough for the New York Mets. This sucks. This really is just not what you want to hear when it comes to news. And, they already lost Ronnie Mauricio for a whole year, and that just goes with the bad luck that the Mets have, man. So much bad luck that the Mets have. And, man, when it comes to health, it's just, why us Mets fans have to go through this, But in 2024, in baseball is, the show goes on. The show goes on. So what are the Mets going to do? Are they going to give a legitimate shot to a Mike Vassell? Are you going to start him? Is he going to be impressive in spring training? And are you going to start him, in the rotation? I don't know. Or are you going to go with a guy like Tyler McGill, who has experience, who's been a starter, but hasn't been that consistent? He did end the season last year, not in a bad way. But it was the last little month of the season, so you can't really, that's not a big sample size there. But I like Tyler McGill. I always have. And, when he came up, man, I was so happy because he was going right after hitters. He was going right after them. He was striking them out. He had a good fastball. But he didn't really have a lot of breaking pitches that was spectacular. And that's the fault of Tyler McGill. That's the fault. He doesn't have a lot of spectacular breaking pitches, and when you're a starter in the major leagues, you gotta have something spectacular, because there's really, really good hitters in the major leagues. So when it comes to the Mets, this is awful news. It is really just worst possible news you can possibly hear. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of this news? What do you guys think of Kodai Senga going down? Or is the season over? I mean, I know some Met fans are already saying the Mets season is over. It hasn't even started, okay? It hasn't even started. We don't know the timetable. So let's see what happens. I'll definitely keep you guys latest on what's going on with Kodai Senga, what's going on with any Mets news. But definitely, if you enjoyed the video, definitely do me a favor. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. This is All Things Mets, where it's your latest Mets media. Man, this is just crazy. It sucks, but it is what it is. LFGM for life. I love you guys so much. And yeah, man, just interact with me in the comments. Say whatever you guys want me to, whatever you guys want to say. And yeah, let's talk some baseball at the end of the day. So stay blessed. Have a good one. LFGM for life.